This resident electoral commission came to the place, reconvened before the announced time, and read from a sheet of paper, handwritten, prepared purportedly by him or whoever his sponsors were, and then declared Aisha Dahiru, that's her real name, Binani, declared the candidate of the All Progressives Congress as winner of the election. When he gets to the INEC headquarters today, as we have been told, he should be immediately arrested.
Hi guys, as INEC has come out to deny the man that announces the results of governorship election in Adamawa state. Guys, this simply means that this man was sent by APC to announce the result behind the back of INEC. This is how they rigged the 2022 presidential election and gave us what we didn't vote for. Guys, watch this video and you will hear what Dr. Rueben has to say, and don't forget to share your thoughts with us.
Well, there we have Dr. Festus Okoye explaining, at least from the INEC's perspective, what happened in Adamawa state. Dr. Abati.
Okay, after the February 25 and March 18 elections, INEC decided that it will conduct supplementary elections this Saturday, 2 days ago. And those elections were to be conducted in 24 states of the Federation. When we discussed this subject, I think on Friday, we were reviewing the promise by the Inspector General of Police that the police was ready. The other security agencies assured us that they were ready. INEC also said it had learned relevant lessons from the omissions observed on February 25 and also March 18, and that therefore the supplementary elections scheduled for April 15, Saturday, will go smoothly, hitch-free. There will be no technical glitches, we were assured. But what then happened generally? We saw, of course, that there was no significant improvement. The newspapers reported that violence, voter apathy, still rocked the supplementary elections, as one newspaper, put it during the weekend. And also, persons were killed in places like Kano, also in Kebbi. The EFCC arrested persons trying to compromise the process. In Kaduna State and also in Kano. There was ballot box snatching and violence in Imo. There was violence also in places in River State where supplementary elections were held. So in terms of the general performance of both INEC as a body and also the security agencies, I think the performance did not show a capacity to have learned any lessons within the, 1 month space that would seem to have been, afforded or provided or worked upon, that gap. We didn't see how lessons have been learned. That's in the general sense. But the most remarkable, incident of this entire process would seem to be the drama of the year. Some say drama of the month that unfolded in Adamawa State, where the results of the supplementary election in 69 polling units in 20 local governments out of 21 local governments that they have in Adamawa State. The collation, 10 local government areas results had been announced as of 9 a.m. Then the collation and returning officers said they will go on break and reconvene at 11 o'clock. But before they came back, it was said that the resident electoral commissioner had announced, using a piece of paper, from what we have seen on television since this process began, I mean, the returning officer will rely on certain forms. In this case, from EC8, maybe A to E, and then read out the figures of the candidates involved before making any announcement. So we were told that this resident electoral commission came to the place, reconvened before the announced time, and read from a sheet of paper, handwritten, prepared purportedly by him or whoever his sponsors were, and then declared Aisha Dahiru, that's her real name. Binani is like a cognomen, and then declared the candidate of the All Progressives Congress as winner of the election. And this, of course, resulted in great confusion. INEC then found itself declaring that declaration null, void, and of no effect, because, as Festus Okoye has pointed out, the resident electoral commissioner is not a person that is duly empowered by law to announce. And I think INEC is very right in that regard. The Campaign for Democracy and Development, Yaga Africa, and the various NGOs that have condemned this, they are right in that regard. And those who have called for the prosecution of that resident electoral commissioner, I think they are also right. And in fact, the thing to say is that now that he has been summoned to the INEC headquarters, when he gets to the INEC headquarters today, as we have been told, he should be immediately arrested. And it is as follows. The Electoral Act 2022 is very clear in terms of the responsibility of who declares result. If you look at section 64 of that Electoral Act 2022, sub 4, sub 5, it talks about the responsibility of the returning officer to collate and announce results. Section 65, sub 1, says very clearly that the returning officer shall have the final authority to act with regard to, ballot papers, with regard to cancelled papers, and also with regard to results, declaration of results. Section 66 of the same Electoral Act makes it very clear that is the returning officer that can announce results. So, in this regard, what the resident electoral commissioner has done amounts to a violation of the law. Why do I say that he should be arrested? If you go to section 120 of this same Electoral Act, section 120 in part 7 of the Electoral Act 2022 deals with electoral offenses. Part 7 deals with electoral offenses. Section 120, 4, 5, 6, specifically 4, says that if a person knowingly, an official, it says, knowingly declares false results, then that person is liable to imprisonment for 36 months. So that resident electoral commissioner Uduari is looking at a punishment of 36 months imprisonment. In other sections of 120, 122, 123, certain offenses you have the option of fine. But in 124, there's no option of fine. Now, apart from that, his behavior also amounts to conduct that can cause a breach of public peace. Section 249 also frowns at that, because what he did in Adamawa on Saturday caused tension, chaos, anxiety. There could have been a breakdown of law and order. And I think he should be sanctioned for that. And his example shows why we should be more careful in the kind of persons that are nominated as resident electoral commissioners. And maybe they should be subjected to alcohol tests or regular psychiatric tests during election seasons, so that they don't create unnecessary problems in the country. Now, very quickly, that is that about that. Now, the Aisha Dahiru, who went ahead and prepared an acceptance speech, that in itself is also condemnable. Because, at what point did it just occur to her that on the basis of an illegality, she could start celebrating? And also Festus Keyamo, SAN, who has been accused of jumping the gun and celebrating ahead and saying history has been made. Yes, a woman can become governor, but she has to go through the legal process. And we hope that, INEC will, insist on its own rules and ensure also that, due process is returned to, as has been requested for by various stakeholders involved in this matter. It's a shame, one of those low moments in this season.